Hey learners, let's warm up our listening ears and play with some sounds. We're going to start with words that rhyme. Tell me which word rhymes with drove, stove, or brave. Stove and drove. Which word rhymes with gloom, clump, or broom? Gloom and broom. Which word rhymes with skip, snip, or gloss? Snip and skip. Which word rhymes with crust, trust, or bread? Crust and trust. Very good. I'm going to give you two words that both start with the same sounds. Can you tell me what sounds they both start with? Spirit, special. Sp. Flower, flavor. Fla. Swallow, sweater. Swa. Track, trunk. Tra. Good. Let's take some sounds and let's put them together. We'll blend them together to make a word. Ready? G, r, o, s, gross. S, n, a, k, snack. B, r, ease, breeze. D, r, a, m, drum. S, l, e, d, sled. T, r, I, k, trick. S, t, a, p, stop. Very good. This time we're going to start with the whole word and then we'll break it apart into its sounds. Okay? Smock. S, m, a, k, smock. Sneeze. S, n, ease, sneeze. Treat. T, r, e, t, treat. Crumb. K, r, crumb. Break. B, r, a, k, break. Very good. Let's start with the end of a word, and we're going to add a new sound at the beginning and put them together to make a new word. So it'll go like this. Rack, add t, track. Rum, add d, drum. Rush, add k, crush. Rash, add k, crash. Very good. This time we're going to take away the first sound in a word and think about what's left over. Trust, chop, t, rust. Friend, chop, f, rend. Grin, chop, g, rin. Trip, chop, t, rip. Nice work. Okay, last thing, let's build a brand new word together. Okay, we're going to change the first sound. Space, change sp to pl, place. Scoop, change sk to gr, group. Break, change br to sn, snake. Skip, change sk to tr, trip. Nice work. All right, learners, we're going to practice our letter sounds again. Remember, I'm going to time us on my phone. Let's see if we can make it through all of our letter sounds and some familiar digraphs in less than 1 minute. So when I hold up the card, say the sound as fast as you can. Are you ready? Here we go. J, D, A, th, sh, t, a, y, o, v, x, m, p, qu, k, s, z, k, g, b, w, ch, I, Eh. Oh my gosh, you guys, guess what? We did it! 1 minute! Well done.
Welcome to Phonics. Today our focus is on hearing short vowels and then writing words with the short vowel sound. Let's warm up. Say the letter sound, the letter name, and the sound with me. A, E, I, O, U, One more time, just the short sound. A, I, Today we'll focus on two vowels that are commonly mistaken. And I. I'll say a word. You'll say it back to me. Then listen for the vowel. Do you hear a or I? And then we'll sort and write the word. You might want to play along using paper and pencil or a whiteboard like me. I. Here comes our first word. The word is hymn. Hymn. Say it with me. Hymn. Now say the sounds. Is it hem or him? You got it. It has the I sound. Let's write it. Nice job writing the letter I when you heard the I sound. The next word is this. Say it with me. This. S. Is it this or this? You got it. It has the short I sound. S. Nice job writing the letter I when you heard the I sound. The next word is best. Say it with me. Best. Now let's say the sounds. B-E-S-T. Is it best or bist? Nice job hearing the eh. Let's write it. B-E-S-T. Nice job writing the letter E when you heard the S sound. The next word is pet. Say it with me. Pet. Say the sounds. P-E-T. Is it pet or pit? I heard the eh too. P-E-T. Nice job writing the letter E when you heard the S sound. Here comes our last word. The word is flip. Say it with me. Flip. Say the sounds. F-L-I-P. Is it flip or flip? You got it. It has the I sound. F-L-I-P. Today we focused on the short vowels. Eh and I. Welcome to our activity to help us practice high-frequency words. Today we'll play cut and build. You can do this at home too. First, choose 5 words that you'd like to practice. Then, write each word on its own card. Third, read the words. Fourth, cut the words apart so that each letter is on its own card now. Last, see if you can rebuild the word so that you spell it correctly. Here, let's give it a try. I already chose some words and wrote them on index cards. Now it's time to read them, cut them, and build them. Here's the first word. Were. We were going to go to the store. Now we cut it apart, mix it up, and build the word. Were. W-E-R-E. We built our first word. Were. Here comes the next one. Read the word again. Cut the word apart. Mix it up. Alrighty. What letter comes first? A. Oh yeah, we're spelling again. Again. A-G-A-I-N. Again. We cut it apart and then built it. Let's practice one more. The word is very. What's the word? Very. Let's cut it apart. Mix it up. Alrighty, what comes first? V, E, R, Y. We built the word very. You can do the same game at home. It's called cut and build. Choose your words that you'd like to practice. Write each word on a card. Read the word, cut it apart, and build it.
Hi readers, Mrs. Kavalevich here again. I'm excited to be back here again with you today, sharing another story. Our book today is all about kindness. What does it mean to be kind? That's right, it means liking and wanting to do good and bring happiness to others. What are some ways that you've been kind towards others? Wow, great examples. In this story, I'm Kind to Me, a boy named Cody and his friends are getting ready for the school musical, a play that includes singing and dancing. Cody shows kindness towards all of his friends, but he's feeling really worried or nervous about his own part in the musical. Let's read to find out what Cody learns about kindness. I'm Kind to Me, written by Iva Valentino, illustrated by Eva Morales. I'm kind to me. Focus question. What does Cody learn about kindness? Words to know. Musical, solo, nervous, stage, shook, steps. Cody was worried. The school musical was just a few days away. Cody loved to dance and sing. There was only one problem. Cody kept making mistakes in his solo. Solo, that means the part of the show that he'll do all by himself. After school, Cody practiced with Mr. Jackson, the music teacher. Cody's voice shook. It went up and down a little bit. It wasn't very smooth. He sang some wrong notes. Don't worry, that's why we practice, Mr. Jackson said. Cody didn't think he would ever get the song right. The next day, everyone practiced the dance moves. Lily kept getting the steps wrong. Don't worry, that's why we practice, said Cody. He knew Lily could do the steps, or the movements in the dance. Then everyone practiced the songs. Marco kept forgetting the words. Don't worry, that's why we practice, said Cody. He knew Marco could remember the words. Readers, how is Cody showing kindness towards others? That's right, he believes in his friends and is encouraging them. He keeps telling them, don't worry. That's why we practice. Next, Cody tried his solo again. Great job, Cody, Lily said. You can do it, said Marco. Cody thought he sounded terrible. At the last practice, everyone gathered on the stage. Just do your best and have fun, said Mr. Jackson. I know you will all be great, he told them. Cody wasn't so sure. On the night of the show, Cody was nervous. He was feeling a little bit afraid. Lily and Marco looked nervous too. Don't worry, you'll be great, Cody told them. Thanks, Cody, said Marco. You're always so kind to others, said Lily. It was almost time to start. Cody felt sick. He just knew he was going to mess up. Readers, how does Cody feel on the night of the show? How can we tell? That's right, he's feeling nervous or a little bit afraid about the show. We can see the look on his face and how he's holding onto his stomach and sweating a bit. He's feeling very worried. Let's keep reading to see what happens. Then he remembered what Lily had said. Maybe he could try being kind to himself too. Cody took a deep breath. You can do this, he told himself. He ran onto the stage. Everyone sang and danced. They all did their best. Then it was time for Cody's song. His voice shook at first. It's okay, he thought. He closed his eyes and sang. At the end of the show, everyone clapped. Cody smiled and took a bow. It feels good to be kind to me, he thought. Readers, what did Cody do before going on stage, and how did that help him? That's right. He encouraged himself. He took a deep breath and said, "You can do this." And while he was singing, even though he was a little bit nervous and his voice shook, he said, "It's okay," and he kept going. Glossary. Musical. A play or film whose action and dialogue includes singing and dancing. Nervous. Edgy or tense. Afraid. Shook. Moved in short, quick, uncontrolled motions, often because of a strong emotion. Solo. A piece of music that is sung or played by one person. Stage, a platform used for plays and other performances. Steps, the movements learned for a dance. Let's do a little bit of thinking about this story. How do Cody's feelings change from the beginning of the story to the end of the story? And how do we know? That's right. At the beginning of the story, Cody felt very nervous about the musical. He kept making mistakes and didn't feel like he could ever get it right. But at the end of the story, Cody believed in himself. He showed kindness towards himself, and he was proud that he tried his best. What did Cody learn about kindness? That's right. He learned to be kind to himself, just as he is kind to his friends. What is something you could do to help a friend who's feeling nervous? Share your ideas with someone in your family. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'll see you next time, readers. Bye.
Hi, writers. Oh my goodness, another great story. I loved talking about the book, I'm Kind to Me, because that story is such a great reminder for all of us that the same kindness and grace we give to others, how we treat others so kindly, we need to remember to give to ourselves. Sometimes we're really tough on ourselves. So we need that reminder. So I enjoyed that book, but also our discussion that you just had about the book, because it's really important sometimes to get a takeaway from a book. And that gave me an idea that we could write about that takeaway, what we learned, which is really what Cody learned in this book. Was a great reminder for all of us. So what was it that we said Cody learned in the story? Think for a moment. What was it that Cody learned? All right, go ahead. What was it that he learned? To be kind. Can we say a little bit more? Oh, that's right. To be kind to himself. Who was he already kind to? He was always showing kindness to his friends, to others, right? And what he learned was to give himself that same kindness. So that is a lesson from the book. And we can write about the lessons that we learn in our books. We can write them down. We can write them in our journal. We're going to write them right here on our chart paper. All right, so let's think about how can we put that lesson into words that we can record together. So we might start with Cody's name, right? He's the main character of our story. He's the one that learns the lesson. So maybe we start with Cody learns. So what are some ideas? Cody learns to be kind to himself. Were you thinking that same thing? Great. So Cody learns to be kind to himself. And I'm going to add just a little bit more. What do you think about this? Cody learns to be kind to himself just as he is kind to others, right? Because he was already kind to everyone in the story. So Cody learns to be kind to himself just as he is kind to others. All right, can you help me write that? And in fact, I just got another idea. Does that ever happen to you when you're writing? You're like, oh, wait, I want to say this too. I'm going to start with in the book, because that is where this idea all came from, is our book today, our read aloud book. So I'm going to start with in the book. Are you okay with that? All right, awesome. Should I remember anything before I get started, or just go ahead and get started? Wait, what? A capital letter? Were you thinking that too? Where would I be without you? Awesome. In, right? So in the, is the a word, you know? Let's see, just practice it. Now let me check. Is that what you just wrote with your finger? All right, let's write it again. The. One more time. The. Okay, in the book. Oh. Book reminds me of the word look. Book, look. They sound alike. And they are spelled very similar. Just need to change the beginning. A B. And then the ook part of look. Excellent. We need a little comma there. In the book, Cody. Now, if you were writing about a book that you just read or about this book, you could turn back to the book. This is how you spell Cody. I just know that. But you could always look a name up in your own book. In the book, Cody learns. Can you stretch that word for me? Learns. Ooh, that was good. Let's do that again. Learns. Okay, what do we hear at the beginning? An L. And then the next sound we hear is like right? That's how it's spelled in this word. How would we make this learn? Because it's learns. Learn. An N, nice. And we want this to be learns. An S. Whew. You guys are good. All right, just so we haven't lost track of where we are, let's do a little reread. In the book, Cody learns to be kind. All right. To be kind. Oh, you were talking about short vowels earlier. We've been talking about short vowels and long vowels over these last few weeks. Kind. Is that a long or a short vowel? That's right. It is a long vowel because it says I. Kind. And this is how it's spelled. All right, so in the book, Cody learns to be kind to who? To Cody, right, to himself. Can you clap himself? Can you join me? Himself. 2 syllables in that word. There's also, it's a compound word. It's made up of himself, right? So, wait, what are you saying? We practiced him earlier? That's right. In the short vowels earlier, you did practice him. So let's say it. Very good. Same word. Remember, himself. All right. Help me do a little reread. In the book, Cody learns to be kind to himself. And then that's where I suggested we say, just as he is kind to others. All right, just gives a little bit more information. And we already know he was so nice to everyone. He was so encouraging. So just, say that one slow with me. What does that sound? It is a short U, good work. Just as he, and we're gonna write is kind to others. Very good. As he is, and there's the word kind. I showed it to you before. We need it here in our story again. Kind to, that might be another one you already know. Others. Let's say that one slow. Others. I'm going to get it started. It starts with an O. That can be a little tricky. But in the middle, listen, the next sound. That's TH. Very good. And then you hear what next? And it's ER. That's how we normally spell to other. Is that what the word we wanted? Or did we want others? We did want others. Oh, nice work. What? We're all done. What? What did I forget? Punctuation mark. What kind of punctuation mark do I need at the end? I'll put a question mark. Wait, I can't? Oh, this is a statement. Okay. So I just have a period. Okay. Just a period. That's what we need at the end. Oh, good thing you guys are here to help me. So I mentioned before I have a little comma here. That's just what that mark is called. It has a little breath that we're going to put in here. So listen, in the book, Cody learns to be kind to himself just as he is kind to others. Did you hear that little breath? Excellent. Let's read this together. In the book, Cody learns to be kind to himself just as he is kind to others. All right, writers, hopefully you'll either take time to write maybe about this story today or any book that you've been reading. You could write about your favorite part, the lesson learned, just whatever you want. It's important to be writing. And you know what? Sometimes great inspiration comes from the books we read. All right. Happy writing, friends. I'll see you next week.
Welcome to At Home with APS for kindergarten and first grade math. Today we are talking about fractions. My name is Nikki Johndal and I'm a first grade teacher at Abingdon Elementary School. Our goal today will be to solve practical problems involving equal sharing with two sharers. Our math workshop today will include a number sense routine. The one today we're using is called Which One Doesn't Belong? Our mini lesson will be called Let's Share, talking about a story problem using fractions. Then we'll end with a reflection as well as a family math tip. Here we go. Which one doesn't belong? I'll show you 4 pictures, and you'll have to take a look at each one and think, which one doesn't belong? Which one has something or doesn't have something that everything else does have? There's not one right answer. There's lots of different ways to think about it. Let's take a look at our first one. Which one doesn't belong? I see 4 shapes. Notice how they're each numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. And think about which one doesn't belong. Maybe you're thinking, number 1 doesn't belong because it's colored in red and none of the others are colored in red. Or maybe you're thinking, number 4 doesn't belong because this one is cut into 4 equal pieces and the other shapes are all cut into 2 equal pieces. Or maybe you're thinking number 3 doesn't belong because it has 4 sides where all of the other shapes are circles, so the rectangle doesn't belong. Let's try another one. Which one doesn't belong? Maybe you're thinking number 2 doesn't belong because it's shaped like a heart and the other ones are shaped like smiley faces. Maybe you're thinking number 1 doesn't belong because it is cut into 4 equal parts and the others are cut into 2 equal parts. Maybe you're thinking number 3 doesn't belong because it has a blue background and the others have green backgrounds. Nice job today playing Which One Doesn't Belong. Here we come to the mini lesson part of our lesson today. It's called Let's Share because fractions is all about sharing. But before we talk about fractions, I want to talk a little bit about our steps for solving story problems that we've talked about in the past. You're going to use the same steps for solving fraction story problems as you would any addition or subtraction story problem. We'll listen closely to what the problem says. We'll think, what is this problem asking me to do? And in this case, it's going to be asking you to share something, either a whole object or a bunch of different objects, among different amounts of people. In kindergarten and first grade, you're going to be looking at either 2 sharers or 4 sharers. Then you're going to need to choose a strategy. What can I do to figure out this problem? And last, you'll want to show your thinking, really explaining how did you figure it out? And of course, answering the story problem. But first, even before we jump into that, we need to talk about fractions. There are some important fraction words that you'll want to know. The word equal means the same or fair. So if you're going to have equal parts, you can't have a big part and a little part. They have to be the same. Fair shares is another way to say that. Equal fair shares. That means that everybody gets the same amount. Nobody gets more or less. The whole is something that's going to be important to understand. Are we talking about a whole pizza? Are we talking about a whole group of brownies? A part is just a section of the whole. In first grade, especially, we'll be using the words half to talk about when a whole is split into 2 parts. So when you hear the word half, you'll want to think 2 equal parts. We'll also be talking about the word fourth. A fourth is one of 4 equal parts of a whole. So when I hear fourth, I think 4 equal parts. Alrighty, now let's move into our story problem talking about fractions. We'll listen closely and then think, what is the problem asking me to do? What's my whole? Who am I sharing it among? Maxwell and Perry want to share 6 brownies so that each of them gets the same amount. How many brownies can each boy have? All right, let's see. Maxwell and Perry, that's 2 sharers. So I'm going to be needing to split the whole 6 brownies among 2 sharers. Alrighty, let's listen and think again. Maxwell and Perry want to share 6 brownies so that each of them gets the same amount. How many brownies can each boy have? Let's see, we've got Maxwell and we have Perry. And we have 6 brownies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I need to choose a strategy and show my thinking. Today I chose to take the 6 brownies and pass them out. 1 for Maxwell, 1 for Perry. 1 for Maxwell, 1 for Perry. 1 for Maxwell, 1 for Perry. I used dealing them out to make fair shares. After I dealt out all 6 brownies, I found out that each boy can have 3 brownies. Let me double check to make sure it's fair shares. They should get the same number of brownies. 1, 2, 3 for Maxwell. 1, 2, 3 for Perry. Let's see, do I have a total of 6 brownies? Is that still my whole? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I still have 6 brownies, 3 for Maxwell and 3 for Perry. Let's try another one. Remember, first we're going to listen and then think. Really thinking, what is happening in the story problem? What information do we know and what are we trying to figure out? Here it comes. Morgan and Charlie's aunt gave them 5 graham crackers to share, but they aren't sure how to do it so that each child gets the same amount. Can you help? How many graham crackers can each child have? Okay, let's really imagine this. So we've got Morgan and Charlie. That's 2 sharers. And the aunt gave them 5 graham crackers. Okay, but now we need to figure out how can we split them up evenly, fair shares, so Morgan and Charlie have the same amount. Okay, let's choose a strategy. Let's draw a picture this time. We'll put Morgan on this side and Charlie on the other side. Let's draw 1 graham cracker for Morgan, 1 graham cracker for Charlie. And then draw another graham cracker for Morgan and another graham cracker for Charlie. Okay, so far we have a total of 4, but there were 5 graham crackers. What are we going to do with the 5th graham cracker? I have an idea. We could cut it in half into 2 equal parts. So then Morgan can get 1/2 and Charlie can get 1/2. So here's the half for Morgan. And here's the half for Charlie. So now we can figure it out. Morgan has 2 whole graham crackers and 1/2 of a graham cracker. So 2 1/2. Let's see if Charlie has the same amount. Charlie has 2 whole graham crackers and 1/2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can put the 2 halves together to make another whole. Yeah, each child gets 2 1/2 graham crackers for a total of 5 graham crackers that they started with. Way to go! As mathematicians, we know it's important to reflect after our learning. Today I'll guide you through some reflection questions that you can use to talk about your learning at home. How can I use what I learned today? So you might be thinking, today we are learning about fractions and how to make fair shares when sharing with 2 people. Could you use that at home? What questions do I have about what I learned today? Think about it. As mathematicians, as you learn more things, you're probably going to have more questions about other things that you'd like to learn about. Share with a family member. What are some questions you now have about what you learned today? What new ideas did the lesson make me think about? Yeah, now that we've done 2 shares, do you think you could try it with 4 sharers? Do you think you could do it with more objects having to be shared? Now, not only is it important to do math, but it's also important to make math happen throughout your regular life. So here are some tips I have for you today. My first tip is use math vocabulary to talk about share fares with food. Food is a great place where we're doing lots of fair shares. Think about anytime you cut a pizza, or you have cookies or brownies, anything that you might split evenly between different people. So as you're talking about those fair shares with food, try to talk like a mathematician. Use words like part and whole. Say things like equal shares or sharers. And even try to use those words half and fourth. My second tip is you'll want to explore ways to split a group into fair shares as well as a whole. So for example, your group might be a group of 10 M&Ms, or your group might be a group of 20 grapes, or your whole might be a whole pizza or a whole cake. Practice exploring those different ways that you could split either a group or a whole into fair shares. You'll want to find opportunities to connect the concrete practical problems, like what we were doing today, with drawings and the language of 1/2. Really thinking about, once again, going from the concrete objects that you can actually hold and manipulate to drawing to show your thinking, and then being able to use that math vocabulary, like saying 1/2 and 1/4. All right, thank you so much for joining us for our math workshop today. I hope you have fun with fractions at home.
Hi, my name is Erin San. I am a teacher and a mindfulness coach. And what that means is I work with people just like you to help them use all of their senses to notice what's happening in their lives from moment to moment without any judgment, so they can stress less and smile a whole lot more. Today, I am going to share with you an exercise that you can use anytime you feel frustrated or upset because you think you've made a mistake. I want to also share with you that mistakes happen all the time. We all make mistakes. Humans, everybody, everywhere, make mistakes. And it's okay to make a mistake. Sometimes that's how we learn. This exercise is a way to be really nice and kind and patient with yourself when you notice that you've made a mistake and start to feel kind of icky about it. Are you ready to practice? Great. We're going to begin by coming into a comfortable seated position. Remember, sometimes we need to move and shake our body just a little bit in order for us to then settle into a place of comfort and stillness. So when you're ready, let your body become comfortable. And let your body relax into stillness. And if you'd like to close your eyes, close your eyes. And if you'd like to keep them open, let them stare at one spot that's not moving, so your mind can start to settle a little bit. Start to notice where you feel icky in your body. When you notice that you've made a mistake, does it start to hurt in your neck? Maybe you feel it in your chest. Maybe it changes your breathing. Maybe it makes you feel sick to your stomach. Or maybe your legs and your hips start to feel really tight. Begin to take 5 deep breaths, sending those breaths right into the body where your body needs it. Each breath is filled with love, with kindness. Each breath helps to make your body feel a little bit more comfortable. And then bring your hand over your heart. This next exercise is one of self-compassion. Self-compassion means being kind and loving and patient with yourself, just as you would be for a friend who's having a bad day, or a friend who fell down on the playground and hurt her knee. You might go over, put your hand around them and say, "Everything's going to be okay. I'm here for you." And that is self-compassion, saying to yourself, "Everything is going to be okay. I am here for myself." So with your hand over your heart, say to yourself, "I am okay. It is okay to make mistakes. I will learn from my mistakes. And I will always be kind to myself." You can repeat those sentences as many times as you want to or need to help yourself feel better. Thank you so much for practicing with us today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Second Step lessons are created by Committee for Children, who owns and controls all rights therein. Permission was granted to district to make and broadcast this video for educational use only by district parents, families, teachers, and counselors with students currently learning via television broadcast due to the impact of COVID-19. No other use of this video or Second Step lessons is permitted. Committee for Children, 2020. Hi everyone, Miss Davis here. I'm glad you're back, and I hope you're staying safe and healthy. Guess what? You made it halfway through summer school. Good job. This week, we're going to be talking about strong feelings and how to calm down. Today, we're going to talk about mistakes. Making a mistake can make us feel upset, sad, or even embarrassed. It may even make us feel like we want to give up. If you need some encouragement and you like music, you should check out the song Don't Give Up by Bruno Mars and Sesame Street. Ask an adult to help you find it on YouTube after the lesson. Don't give up. Oh, I love that song. Each Muppet that was making a mistake didn't give up. If they had just decided, this is too hard, I'll never catch the ball, I'll never be able to roller skate, they would never have that feeling of having done something hard, having practiced something and actually
actually achieved a new goal. Keep that in mind as things get hard. Don't give up, and know that making mistakes is how we know what we need to practice more. So, let's keep that in mind as we talk about how to handle making mistakes. Take a look at this picture. This is Ken. Ken just got his paragraph writing assignment back, and it's full of spelling mistakes again. Think about how Ken's body feels. Look at his hand, his mouth, his eyes, his head. He's feeling really uncomfortable. His face is hot, his cheeks are red. He feels really tense. He's mad. He notices that his heart is racing, beating very fast. His stomach doesn't feel good, and he's hot. He's uncomfortable. When you make mistakes, your body may feel uncomfortable. Strong feelings make it hard to think and know what to do. What Ken wants to do is he wants to crumple up his paper and throw it away. Think about why crumpling up the paper and throwing it away are not good ideas. Well, you might be thinking his teacher might think it's disrespectful to crumple up his paper and throw it away. Also, if he crumples up his paper, he won't know what words he needs to practice spelling. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes are an important part of learning that show us what we need to practice. Sometimes making mistakes can feel very frustrating and embarrassing, and that makes it hard to think and learn. So Ken needs to manage this strong feeling he's having. Let's see, what could Ken do to calm down his strong feeling? Last week we talked about using self-talk. Maybe he could say, "Relax, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm upset." As Ken says that to himself, he actually starts to calm down, but his body still feels pretty uncomfortable, so he needs to calm down completely. He decides to use belly breathing. Let's watch a video that will teach you all about belly breathing.
Hi, I'm Brent. Just like you, I sometimes get mad, frustrated, or excited. And when that happens to me, I use belly breathing to help me calm down. This is how I do it. I put my hands on my belly. I pay attention to my breathing. I take a breath that makes my belly move out when I breathe in, and back in when I breathe out. I breathe in slowly through my nose and out through my mouth. It's like smelling some delicious hot soup and then blowing on it to cool it down. My breathing is so quiet that I can hardly hear it. What do you think? Want to test it out? Try it with me. Put your hands on your belly. Take a breath that makes your belly move out when you breathe in through your nose, and back in when you breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in slowly through your nose and out through your mouth. Raise your hand if you can feel your belly moving in and out. Nicely done. Let's practice again. It's easy to learn and it will really help you out. Next time you get upset or too excited to think, try it out.
After using belly breathing to calm down, Ken can think about what to do. He decides to be assertive and ask for help. Being assertive means asking for what we need. He raises his hand and asks his teacher for help with his writing assignment. Maybe you've made mistakes like Ken before. Maybe you've accidentally hit a friend in the face with a ball. Maybe you gave the wrong answer for a math question. Maybe you've taken home the wrong backpack because it looked just like yours. When you feel strong feelings about making mistakes, it's important to calm down so you can think, learn, and ask for help when you need it.
There's a fun book about mistakes called It's Okay to Make Mistakes by Todd Parr. You can find a read aloud on YouTube after the lesson.
See you soon.
Hola chicos, mi nombre es Ivanelsi Mejías y yo soy maestra en la Escuela de Inmersión Claremont. Hoy vamos a estar trabajando con las fracciones. Antes de comenzar nuestra lección de fracciones, me gustaría que practicáramos una rutina de sentido numérico. ¿Estás listo? Vamos a comenzar. Bien, y ahora vamos a comenzar nuestra rutina numérica. Esto es un tablero de 100. Y le llamamos un tablero de 100 porque los números están escritos del 1 al 100. Quiero que contemos de 10 en 10 y los números de 10 en 10 van a estar en esta línea. ¿Estás listo? Comencemos.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 y 100.
Muy bien, contamos de 10 en 10 y si te das cuenta, todos los números de 10 en 10 terminan con el número 0. Muy bien. Vamos a comenzar con nuestra lección de fracciones. Y en esta lección, yo quiero que tú pienses cómo tú puedes compartir justamente un alimento o algún objeto. Ese va a ser nuestro enfoque mayor en la lección de hoy. Continuemos. Nuestro objetivo de contenido para hoy es: el estudiante investigará las fracciones representando y resolviendo problemas donde dos personas comparten un entero en partes iguales. El objetivo del lenguaje es: yo puedo identificar y repetir cómo compartir un entero en partes iguales. Practiquemos algunas palabras de vocabulario antes de comenzar nuestra lección. Entero. ¿Qué es eso de un entero? Bueno, pues un entero es parte de una fracción. Un entero está dividido en pedazos y esos son los pedazos que tú puedes compartir justamente con otras personas. Otra palabra de vocabulario que vamos a utilizar hoy es partes iguales. Y partes iguales es cuando tú agarras un pedazo de algo y lo compartes justamente por la mitad o de manera que todos tengan la misma cantidad. En este caso, aquí tenemos una mitad. Otra palabra es compartir. Y compartir es cuando tú das de lo que tienes para que otra persona también disfrute de eso. Vamos a practicar cómo podemos compartir justamente. Muy bien, supongamos que aquí yo tengo una pizza. Este es mi entero. Recuerda, el entero es la parte de la fracción. Yo tengo una pizza que está dividida en 2 pedazos. Ahora, ¿cómo yo puedo utilizar esta pizza, este entero, para compartirlo justamente de manera que tú y yo tengamos la misma cantidad. Bueno, pues si yo agarro este pedazo de pizza y te lo doy a ti para que te lo comas, y luego yo agarro este otro pedazo de pizza y me quedo con él para comérmelo, ¿crees que tenemos la misma cantidad de pizza? Este es tu pedazo, este es mi pedazo. Sí, tenemos la misma cantidad de pizza porque nuestro entero ha sido dividido en partes iguales, justo en la mitad. Por lo tanto, una mitad es para ti, otra mitad es para mí. Y hemos compartido justamente nuestra pizza en 2 pedazos para 2 personas. Veamos otro ejemplo. En este ejemplo, ahora yo tengo más pedazos. Yo tengo 1, 2, 3 y 4 pedazos. Si yo quiero compartir estos 4 pedazos justamente para 2 personas, digamos, estos 4 pedazos lo vamos a compartir entre tú y yo. Vamos a ver cuántos pedazos le va a tocar a cada uno. Yo voy a decir que este pedazo es para ti. Yo voy a decir que este pedazo es para mí. Y quiero compartir contigo también este pedazo. Y yo entonces voy a quedarme con este pedazo. Entonces, si miramos este entero que ha sido dividido en 4 partes, tú puedes ver que hay 1, 2 pedazos que han sido compartidos para ti. Y entonces yo tengo 1 y 2 pedazos que son compartidos para mí. Tú tienes 2 pedazos y yo también tengo 2 pedazos. Como tenemos la misma cantidad de pedazos, ¿crees que hemos compartido justamente esta fracción? ¡Fantástico! Hemos compartido justamente porque los dos tenemos la misma cantidad. Si yo divido mi entero en la mitad, puedes ver que la parte de arriba que es roja es toda tuya y la parte de abajo que es azul es toda mía. Así que hemos compartido justamente un entero de 4 pedazos. 2 para ti, 2 para mí. Muy bien, y ahora vamos a repasar lo aprendido. José y Cristina quieren compartir 4 galletas justamente. ¿Cuántas galletas puede tener cada niño? Aquí tenemos a José y aquí está Cristina. Tengo mis 4 galletas. ¿Cuántas galletas tú crees que le va a tocar a cada niño? Piensa y discute con alguien en tu hogar. Muy bien. Vamos a ver cuántas galletas va a tener cada niño. Digamos que yo le voy a dar una galleta a José, una galleta a Cristina, una galleta para José, otra galleta para Cristina. ¿Cuántas galletas tiene cada niño? Muy bien, cada niño tiene 2 galletas. Por lo tanto, ¿han compartido justamente las 2 galletas? ¿Tienen la misma cantidad? ¡Fantástico! Han compartido justamente porque cada niño tiene 2 galletas. Recuerda, cuando compartes justamente, tú quieres que tú y tu amigo tengan la misma cantidad. Veamos otro ejemplo. En este ejemplo, queremos saber cómo podemos compartir los chocolates justamente en cada plato. Pero primero, ¿cuántos chocolates tenemos? ¡Fantástico! Tenemos 6 chocolates. Vamos a ver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chocolates. ¿Cómo puedo poner la misma cantidad de chocolates en cada plato para que todos tengan la misma cantidad y podamos compartir justamente. Quiero que pienses y compartas con alguien en casa cuántos chocolates tú crees que va a tener cada plato. Muy bien, vamos a verificar si tu respuesta es correcta. Voy a poner un chocolate aquí, otro chocolate aquí. Hasta ahora cada plato tiene la misma cantidad. Un chocolate aquí, otro chocolate acá. Un chocolate aquí, otro chocolate acá. Ya no nos quedan más chocolates para compartir. Pero quiero saber si cada plato tiene la misma cantidad. Aquí hay 1, 2 y 3 chocolates. 1, 2, 3 chocolates. Así que en cada plato hay la misma cantidad de chocolates. ¿Crees que compartimos justamente? ¡Fantástico! Hemos compartido justamente porque los dos platos tienen la misma cantidad. Vamos a ver otro ejemplo de práctica. Continuamos practicando lo aprendido. Mariela y Rocío quieren compartir 8 fresas. Necesitan de tu ayuda para tener la misma cantidad de fresas. ¿Cuántas fresas tendrá cada niña? Mariela y Rocío. Recuerda que queremos que ellas compartan justamente. Queremos que las dos tengan la misma cantidad. ¿Cuántas fresas va a tener cada niña? Te voy a dar un poco de tiempo para que pienses y compartas con alguien en casa cuántas fresas tú crees que va a tener cada niña. Hay 8 fresas y son 2 niñas. Bien, veamos cuántas fresas va a tener cada niña. Si le damos una fresa a Mariela, una fresa a Rocío. Una para Mariela, otra para Rocío. Una para Mariela, otra para Rocío. Una más para Mariela, otra más para Rocío. ¿Cuántas fresas tiene cada niña? 1, 2, 3 y 4. Muy bien. 1, 2, 3 y 4. Cada niña tiene 4 fresas. Así que hemos contestado la pregunta, ¿cuántas fresas tendrá cada niña? ¡Fantástico! 4 fresas. Hemos compartido justamente porque las niñas tienen la misma cantidad de fresa. Recuerda, compartir justamente es cuando tú tienes algo y lo compartes de manera igual con otra persona. Mariela y Rocío han compartido justamente. Vamos a jugar. Vamos a jugar este juego que se titula Igual para Todos. Es un juego que puedes conseguir en la internet porque es de PBS Kids y te ayuda a identificar cómo puedes compartir justamente. Vamos a comenzar. Escucha las instrucciones con atención para que me ayudes a lograr la meta. Comencemos.
Jorge está entrenando a estos perros. Reparte las galletitas hasta que cada perro tenga igual cantidad.
Le damos una galletita a este perrito, otra galletita a este perrito.
Cuando todos los perros tengan la misma cantidad de galletas, presiona el silbato. Los perros están felices porque tienen cantidades iguales. ¡Buenísimo! Presiona el botón verde para seguir jugando.
Vamos a ver cuál es el próximo juego. Cuenta conmigo cuántos huesos hay. 1, 2, 3 y 4. Ahora comparte con alguien en casa. ¿Cuántos huesos tú crees que le va a tocar a cada perrito? Recuerda que tú quieres compartir justamente. ¿Cuántos huesos le va a tocar a cada perrito? Fantástico. Vamos a ver. 1, 2, 2 huesos para cada perro. ¿Fue esa tu respuesta? ¡Fantástico! Vamos a verificar nuestro trabajo.
Eso es. ¡Estupendo! Presiona el botón verde para seguir jugando.
Vamos a ver un último juego de práctica. ¡Wow! Veo muchos huesos encima de la mesa. Ayúdame a contar cuántos huesos hay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 y... Muy bien, hay 6 huesos. Comparte con alguien en casa cuántos huesos crees que le va a tocar ahora a cada perrito. Bien, vamos a ver cuántos huesos le va a tocar a cada perrito. Guarda tu respuesta para el final. Uno para ti, otro para ti. Uno para ti, otro para ti. Uno para ti, otro para ti. Cada perrito tiene 3 huesos. ¿Fue esa tu respuesta? Muy bien. Si habían 6 huesos y están compartiendo justamente entre 2 perritos, cada perrito va a tener 3 huesos. ¡Fantástico! Eres un excelente estudiante. Vamos a repasar lo aprendido. Imagina que tú y un amigo van a compartir cupcakes. ¿Cómo podemos compartir los cupcakes justamente para que los dos tengan la misma cantidad? Tú y un amigo van a compartir estos 4 cupcakes. ¿Cómo los puedes compartir justamente para que tú y tu amigo tengan la misma cantidad? Comparte tu pensamiento con tu familia y al final veremos si tu respuesta está correcta. Muy bien, vamos a ver si tu respuesta es correcta. ¿Cuántos cupcakes va a tener cada uno? ¡Maravilloso! Cada uno tendrá 2 cupcakes. Son 4 cupcakes y si los repartimos en la mitad, le tocan 2 cupcakes a cada niño. 2 para ti, 2 para tu amigo. Buen trabajo, campeón. Estoy súper orgullosa de todo el trabajo que has hecho durante esta lección. Continúa practicando las fracciones. Son súper divertidas y las encuentras a tu alrededor. Hola familia. Quiero compartirle algunos consejos de cómo usted puede ayudar a su hijo en casa fomentando las fracciones. Sabemos que las fracciones siempre es un poco difícil para los niños, pero hay muchas maneras divertidas y muchas cosas en la vida real que usted puede hacer para ayudar a su hijo con la destreza de las fracciones. Una de las cosas que puede hacer es la siguiente. Pueden pensar cómo pueden compartir justamente algún alimento. ¿Cómo pueden compartir ese alimento por la mitad? La forma más famosa y la que más le gusta a los niños es utilizar una pizza. Utilicen una pizza y traten de compartir la pizza justamente entre las personas que van a comer. Otra manera que usted puede ayudar a su hijo con las fracciones es diciéndole que el número que está arriba se llama numerador y el número que está abajo se llama denominador. Es bien importante que desde pequeño los niños reconozcan que el numerador es el número de arriba y el denominador es el número de abajo. Puede discutir las fracciones con su hijo siempre que te encuentres con ellas alrededor en la vida real. También puedes utilizar un pastel si están cocinando o si han comprado un pastel. Pueden utilizar un pastel y dividirlo entre 4, 6, 8, inclusive hasta para 2 personas. Esta experiencia será bien divertida para el niño y le ayudará a, por medio de la práctica y la experiencia de vida, recordar cómo compartir igualmente cantidades en la vida real. Gracias por escucharnos, gracias por estar con nosotros y esperamos que hayan disfrutado mucho de la lección de fracciones. ¡Hasta luego!